back to Conversations with Nash. I always say hi with the high pitch, but I think it's going to be my trademark. I'm about it. Welcome back, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in once more, and I hope you guys enjoyed the last video, which was really chilled and get to know me. Now that you know me, it's time for you to disagree with my point of view, and I don't mind. It's okay. You can disagree. And today I'm joined with my friend Ruthie. This is Ruth, and we are going to be having a conversation about the DriveDry featuring Volkswagen featuring Moozlie campaign that happened earlier in January. And we're just gonna sort of dive into it and talk about, do we think it was a good campaign? Was it a bad campaign? And just share our views with you guys, and hopefully you're gonna enjoy that. Just to give you a little bit of background. So on the 10th of January, on a Thursday, everyone woke up in South Africa to the news that Moozlie Mabena had been involved in a car crash while she was driving. She was on Instagram Live, and the crash happened live on Instagram Live. The whole nation was shook. People were looking for her. It was insane. And I'm sure you saw it too. And you had thoughts on thoughts on thoughts. During that morning, a lot of people started speculating that it was a campaign and it wasn't a real crash. So we're just gonna dive into it a little bit. And I've got a couple of questions for Ruth, who is also a social media professional. She doesn't want me to call her that, but that's what she is, so I don't understand.
Hi everybody, I'm not a social media professional.
What are you?
I work with social media professionally.
I think that means she's a social media professional. Okay, so Ruth has been doing social media for a couple of years. She's modest, so she's not gonna say any of these things, so I will. And she's worked in a variety of brands. So I thought she was the perfect person to talk about a social media campaign and just unpack it. I feel like I've been saying delve into, unpack a lot, but let's do it. Okay, so I've got a couple of questions that we are both going to sort of discuss. It's not like a TV interview.
Yes, guys.
It's just a
no pressure.
Conversation.
Don't quote me.
Okay, apparently don't quote me. You can quote me, I don't mind. So my first question is, when and where were you when you first heard about the accident?
I was falling asleep and I saw a friend's WhatsApp status saying, oh my gosh, I hope she's alive. And then I fell asleep. And I woke up the next day.
Wait. You heard a human being might be in danger, and you just were like, yeah, bye.
Well, it was a long day, guys. I was so tired. I was like, okay. Because it was a couple of statuses that she had put up. And then I saw that one and I was like, okay, it's clearly not anyone close, So yeah. I was like, okay, I'll check it on Twitter tomorrow.
Okay. So I woke, I didn't see it the night before. I was asleep, like normal people. Go to sleep, people. This happened at 11 p.m.
So you see, it was
what are you doing? What are you doing midnight on Instagram? Hello. Anyway.
Yeah, I wasn't on Instagram.
I woke up on the Friday or the Thursday, I don't remember. And a friend of mine had shared a status on WhatsApp with the video. Oh my word, I will never text and drive again in my life, or video and drive again in my life. And I was like, what on earth? And she's like, no, it's real. I went onto Twitter, and that's where I saw, okay, this is what's happening. Okay, so that's where we were when we first heard about it.
Yep.
Okay, my second question is, what were your initial thoughts? Okay, you went to sleep.
Okay, so I went to sleep.
When you woke up in the morning,
yeah,
what were you like?
So now the thing with me, I look at Twitter for, to see what's trending and so forth. But then I was like, okay, this seems to have started on Instagram. So let me go to Instagram and see the initial video. So I watched it and I was like, okay, cool. So is she really dead? So I went back to Twitter and I'm like, okay, trying to see, is she really, sorry, is she really gone?
Yeah, a lot of people thought she was dead, because there was no communication.
Yes, there was no communication. So I was like, okay, cool. So has there been a statement? So first for me is I'm gonna go to the publications. Has there been a statement released? Like your Maiden Guardians or your Soul Victims or whatever. To say, the family of Moozlie would like some whatever privacy during this time. So I'm like, okay, cool. Nothing from the big publications. Okay, maybe people don't know exactly what's happened yet.
Yeah.
Because I mean, she was alone, and then I went to Rob Beasley's Twitter handle, Traffic SA, to see like if there were any reports of some crash or whatever. And then I got over it because I had to get to work. But then I was like, I still kept like keeping it. I kept an eye on it.
Yeah.
Just to see like, okay, what's going on. And then workday happens. I was working professionally on my social media accounts.
But not social media professional.
Later in the evening, I think that's when they released it was all, it was all staged.
Yeah.
And I was like, seriously? I was like, what? Okay. So then I go and I watch this video of, the making of the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool campaign. I was like, geez, Rob Smarkin really pulled it off. So initially, I thought it was when I first saw it, I thought it was obviously a don't drink and text or don't drink and whatever.
Like responsible driving.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because apparently there was, apparently there was a video, or it was quite a long video. I only saw the part where she was in the car recording herself on Instagram Live. I didn't know that there was alcohol involved. I mean, she did look a bit drunk, but it was more of like a video texting or whatever. So I was like, okay, cool. Good way to get the message across. Yeah. And then later on, as I was reading about it, I was like, oh, it was a don't drink and drive campaign. It's also pretty good. Although, I guess if that was the message they were trying to portray, it kind of maybe messed up. But it still trended.
Yeah, it definitely trended. I mean, I saw the video initially on WhatsApp from a friend. I went on to Twitter just to sort of like verify, is this real, is this not?
Yeah. I like on Twitter is like a verification.
Yeah, right.
Like,
my initial thoughts though were, oh my word, I honestly believed that it was real.
Yeah,
it seemed real to me. Before I went onto Twitter, there's no part of my body that thought, no man, this will be a campaign. You know what I mean? And then I went onto Twitter, and then people were starting to say, no man, this is not real. There was an account that went into detail about how it's not real. Like, oh, did you see this shot and that shot and wada wada? And he had like a long thread, like, yeah, you tried, whoever it is that's doing this campaign, but like we can see that it's not a real there's not a real crash. And when I was reading that guy's thread, I could also see like, oh gosh, this is an ad. And you know what? I was pissed off. Like, I was like,
but now,
I was like, what on earth?
Was this after?
This is before they owned the campaign. And then a lot of us were pissed off. We're just like, what the hell, man? Like, don't do that. Like, a lot of people were then coming with like their own stories of, we just came out of December and my mom was involved in a car accident, or like whatever, like sharing stories like that. And people were just like, oh my, this is traumatic. There was no like, warning that this is about to happen. And if it is an ad, because on television there are regulations that if you're going to do shock advertising, that you warn people that are, what do you call it? Sensitive views. You know what I mean? That might be sensitive. That you have some sort of warning, so that if someone is like affected by it, they knew not to watch it. Yeah. So I was just like, what on earth? And then at the same time, when I put my marketing hat on, I'm like, no, I don't necessarily think that shock advertising is effective, but we'll get into that. And I really think the messaging was sort of lost. Yeah. Because as you're saying, when everyone saw it, we all thought, don't text and drive, don't Instagram live and drive. We all do it, right? Yeah. Like you're in your car in the morning, even if it's not like facing you, you have your phone while you're driving, playing your music, whatever, And it's like, hey, cool, responsible driving is the messaging that came out of it. That was the strongest messaging.
Yes. And I mean, to be honest, if I was VW or whoever the person was that, started the campaign, I would have taken that and said that was actually the message I was trying to pull, because it was the stronger message. It was what people perceived it as. So I would be like, cool, great. The message was responsible driving. That's what. Let's go with that.
Yeah, the thing, it's
Ideally,
difficult.
yeah.
It's difficult when it's DriveDry because
Yes.
DriveDry is an initiative by Diageo South Africa.
Yeah.
And it's around responsible driving in terms of
Yes.
not drinking and driving.
Yeah.
So now it's like, okay, why is DriveDry doing
Involved.
a texting and driving campaign?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Volkswagen could have done anything. Like they could have just been like, yeah, it's texting.
Yep.
And like responsible driving. But DriveDry is like, okay, we've paid like 50% for this production.
God, we gotta give it to the production.
You
That
know?
was.
Listen, if we're gonna talk about just production value only,
Yeah.
production value, nothing else, no messaging, no, we're gonna go into like timing and like how I believe they got it wrong, but you can share your views on that. If we're gonna talk about production value, I mean, I watched the video that they released and how they like tried to make it look real and whatever. Yeah, that's cool. Like, yeah, cool production, yay. But everything else, I wasn't a fan, and I sort of made it very like clear on Twitter that like, I remember I tweeted when they eventually decided to own the campaign. I tweeted this was a crap campaign. That was fine. Like that's like how strong my feelings about it were. Okay, so the third, and I think you sort of got into this. Did you believe it was a real crash? And I said I didn't believe it was a real crash initially. That until I was influenced by the Twitter sphere.
I think for me, look, as much as I work in the social media space, I'm still a kind of a traditionalist in terms of news verification. So yeah, it's trending on Twitter, but until a like reputable news house or whatever says it, then I'll believe it. So look, the shock was them, like, oh my god, so I was wondering, is it real, is it not real? But I wasn't on some, okay, this girl must really be dead, until I see like, I don't know, News 24 or E-News,
saying it.
tweets.
I think that's what gave it away though, because after Twitter, you're like, okay, cool, let me just go check, because like,
is what's trending really real?
Is it real? Yeah. Because on Twitter we just converse amongst ourselves.
Exactly.
We have no facts. We have no. It's just like, okay, it's like emotions and all sorts of things. Like we're not there for real hard facts.
Yeah.
So then you go on your Google search and you actually search, okay,
yes, for actual news.
What has happened? Like actual news pieces. Is it in the radio? Is it on the radio? Is it on TV? Is it on ENCA? Like in the morning? You know what I mean?
And I mean, it would have been exactly in the morning because they posted it the night before, so people would have woken up to breaking news in your news bulletin.
Exactly, and we just come out of a year when so much happened on our roads. I mean, there's Akumzi who died last year. There's also Usba Shempisana who was also in a massive car accident. So in those instances, we got news stories quite quickly. So the fact that there was no news coverage was like, okay, this is actually like not real. But wait, I want to talk about, there was a lady, I forgot her name. What is her name? Is it Jackie? What is her name? The lady that wrote the book Blessed. Blessed is that book about blessings in Johannesburg and the rugby club. She posted a video on Twitter crying, real tears. Crying like, oh my word, we can't find a Moozlie, oh my gosh, please somebody help us. But now, when the news broke that it was a campaign, we are all still not certain. Was she part of the campaign?
Her and a couple of people. What's her name? Rouge, I think.
Yes.
It started off as, I don't think she was on the phone with Rouge or whatever, but I think there might have been a cost in this whole campaign. Because I mean, in order for it to be pushed,
to seem real.
Yes, to seem real, some people would have had to have been affected. I mean, maybe they might not have really gone to the family because I don't know, you want to keep your family out of the limelight for these type of things. But I think they
were like fillers. They were
definitely
like
fillers.
to
people to kind of push, to make the ball roll even more.
Oh my word. But now it's like, I almost used the F word. But now it's like sucky about that or messed up. That's the right word. Sorry, YouTube. I want to be monetized when I have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours. You see, I know these YouTube things. Anyway, but now what is messed up about it, if let's say they were fillers, is the fact that in the statement they weren't mentioned. So then they were just like collateral damage, because then everyone's just like,
yeah,
these suckers. But I did hear about Rouge and the fact that I think she was the initial person that was going to that was going to be part of the campaign, or she was a part of the campaign. Like there was some sort of like,
she was a supporting character.
She was a supporting character. But this Jackie girl, sorry, I don't know what her name is.
Jackie was an extra.
So you don't mention extras. I'm sorry, even the credits on like movies have like, okay, extra, so and so.
Some movies, social media.
Anyway.
What's your following?
And she's an author. That's her following.
What's your following?
Okay, the next question was, what was your reaction to the statement by DriveDry and Volkswagen? Like when it actually came out. I think we've sort of like, we've been touching on a lot of these questions.
Yeah.
Like what's your official sort of answer to that? What was your, when it eventually came out?
Yes. I clapped hands. I think I've only ever clapped hands for very few campaigns. One was that Mercedes-Benz and Van Damme campaign where he does the splits with the trucks. I was just like, beautiful. Yeah. Beautifully executed. And this one as well as like, well look, the whole world was talking South Africa, Twitter, I don't know about the whole world. Yeah. But everybody was talking about it. And I mean, what is the objective of a campaign usually is for it to trend, for it to make some kind of noise. So I think it achieved those. And I mean, the messaging and it getting lost and, you know, the shock that it might have, you know, given to people. In a way, I think it achieved what it was supposed to achieve. We do want to shock the people into sense. Like, you saw that, so that could happen to you. Yes, this was staged, but at the end of the day, the message is that responsible driving, that could have happened to you. That could have happened for real. And looking at those kind of points, I was just like, I think it was a really well executed campaign. The timings though, as in how long it took for them to be like, okay guys, this was all staged, I think was too long. I almost kind of forgot about it by the time, you know, it was done. And I feel like with social media, things are so quick. Like, okay, you become yesterday's news in like 2 hours. So they probably shouldn't have posted it at like 11 o'clock at night because we were all gonna go to sleep, and I might have forgotten that I saw that the next morning. Or if it worked that they posted it at that time, but I think really by like 10 a.m. they should have told us that. Listen guys, this was all just campaign or whatever.
Listen, my thoughts are obviously, as I said, quite like locally everywhere. They are receipts. I can't change it. Even if I want to.
It's on the interwebs.
It's on the interwebs. But I haven't changed my opinion on it. I don't think it was a well executed campaign. I support the message. I support the message of don't drink and drive. I support the message of responsible drinking. I would have supported a campaign about pledging to not drinking and driving. So I don't dispute that. I'm not saying we're still gonna drink and drive. No, that's not what I'm saying. But I just think that you know, the brief to the agency was, you know, create a campaign that will have shock value and will get people talking and will get people to pledge. Which is like that final loop of sort of your tunnel of customer acquisition, right? And I don't think that a lot of people pledged. Because a lot of people were talking about the campaign. Which is fantastic. It's great to get talkability, but not great to get talkability and it's not about what it is that you're trying to do. So you have now gone and you know, budgeted R1 million for this production. Firstly, do not do R1 million campaigns for social media. Come on. Anyway, now you've gone and you've put in all of this money, and your objective is this, and your KPI is that, and you are getting like the complete opposite. Like you're getting talkability. It's like, okay, cool, great, my campaign got reach and impressions, and your reports look like fantastic. And then it's like, okay, cool, let's do like a keyword search. Like, are people pledging? Is there, oh my word, this is so impactful, I'm gonna pledge. I'm gonna go onto the website. I don't even know if they had a link. Like, do you know if they had a link? You know? And I think they did. I think they had like a place where you
didn't even know
pledge.
it was like a whole pledge vibe. I thought it was just Look, guys, to be honest, when I saw that thing, I thought it was a VW campaign.
Yeah.
To advertise the
Their
car,
car.
you know, the car and the airbags, etc., etc. Until after like watching it, and then this airbag came out, I was just like, oh, no. So don't drink and drive campaign.
You see, that's where I think they missed the mark. The fact that so many people thought it was everything that it was not.
Yeah.
It was never about drinking and driving for any person who saw it. I mean, I think I saw, I'm saying it was never about drinking and driving. I think I saw 1 or 2 or 3 tweets which were like, oh no, you know, yeah, she was also drinking. And then people are like, but we only saw her drinking 1 glass of wine. The other thing was the longevity of the campaign, right? Because they were doing it as a whole December, sort of, this has been your behavior in the whole of December, and these are the results of that behavior. Now you're in January, you're about to live your best life, and you think you're making resolutions. Oh, sorry, you're carrying on with that drinking behavior, so now you're gonna die.
Yeah.
But people were not watching Moozlie's Instagram.
No.
People weren't like
until the crash.
And until the crash, people weren't like, oh my god, what's Moozlie up to? And like adding it up in their heads.
Do you think that maybe they chose the wrong person? Do you think if it was someone else, I don't know, for example, AKA, or your Caspers, would people have been watching what they were doing? Do you think maybe they chose the wrong person?
Listen, I don't necessarily think it was. I don't care what influencer they use. I think you could have used anyone, to be quite honest. I think Moozlie is big enough in my eyes, and that's why it trended, because they used a Moozlie. She might not be the biggest, but she's big enough to be an influencer. I just think that the execution was wrong, in the sense that no one is going to be adding things up in their own heads.
True.
Like, there should have been hints along the way, like breadcrumbs being, you know what I mean? Where you are like...
Because you don't always watch everybody's Instagram.
Exactly. Exactly. Where you are like, where there's, okay, maybe there's something here, you know what I mean? Where like, but there were like no clues to the fact that this is an ad campaign, you know? So I remember I saw the image of Moozlie where she opened the boot and there was like alcohol at the back seat. But I thought, hey, she's a celebrity. She gets free alcohol all the time. Keep December, boss. Now she's got alcohol. I'm not thinking, oh, okay, she's gonna drink all of that alcohol and get into her car. You know what I mean? So I just think the way that they did it wasn't effective. There could have been a way to do that campaign. It could have been a day campaign. It could have been, you know, another month-long campaign that nobody knows about. Imagine you're working on content. You're working on content for a whole month and nobody knows about it.
Yeah, they didn't push it enough. The pre-accident, the lead up to the accident.
The lead up to the accident
wasn't built up enough.
Wasn't built up enough. And then what's really funny, I was reading an article, I think it was Sowetan, or was Times Live, I'm not sure, online. And so the hashtag for the campaign is, what does it change? Munati Haufeli to Munati Wafela. Right? And they spelled Munati wrong. Like it's the entire hashtag.
So what, there's a black person in that team.
Exactly. The entire hashtag of the campaign was spelled wrong. You know, and you go, I mean, this is like a bigger conversation, and I think it's a conversation we have as black professionals in the marketing and advertising space about the lack of us in the boardrooms. And
yet they want to target us.
Exactly.
Get the message wrong. Anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's another
different topic.
Bigger conversation, which needs like 4 or 5 people talking about it and really tackling that issue. Okay, I'm gonna carry on with my questions. I don't even think we're following them, but whatever. Okay, what are your general thoughts on like shock advertising? I mean, we've been using shock advertising has been around for a very long time. In South Africa, popular ones would be like those ads with, what is Nyoga? You know those ads with the guys who are being taken to jail because I think
for real.
Yes, you know. So we've seen shock insurance companies love using shock advertising. You know, when you see an actual crash happening and it's like, oh, are you insured? What happens when you die?
But you see, which is why I think this one was a little more effective, because those you can tell that it's an advert, so it's almost like you almost kind of like, okay, it's just an ad, it's not gonna happen to me.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, it literally, it's real. It felt real. It
real.
seemed real.
Yeah.
You were just like, shit, did that? Sorry.
She doesn't want me to get baptized.
Did that just happen? Like, it honestly. Whereas when you're on TV, and also when you're watching TV, I mean, these days, to be honest, some people just skip through, fast forward through the adverts. But, like, for example, insurance companies, that whole, I hate insurance adverts. That's just me, personally.
Oh, there's really, really
I
good
really
ones.
find them so, like, scripted and so, you know, boring.
Yeah.
But, and I think with insurance adverts, it almost takes, like, the shock factor out. Like, it's supposed to be a shock, you know, advert, but it almost loses it because now there's this guy afterwards, are you insured for you? You know, it's kind of like, okay, the shock is gone within like 2 seconds. Yeah. Whereas with this one, it was like, I'm still shocked for like at least another 30 minutes. Yeah. An hour. I'm still investigating. I'm still looking and reading about what's going on.
Invested.
Yes, you invested in it.
Yeah.
So I do think shock advertising works if it is executed properly, and if the shock lasts long enough. Because also, you want to shock someone, but you also don't want to traumatize them to the sense where, oh my gosh, like, okay, really, what is going on? Like with this, as I said earlier, like, I feel like they took too long to say, guys, this was a campaign. And by then also, it's either I'm going to get over it and just forget that advert happened, or I'm going to be like, really like, okay, what the hell is going on? Is this real? Like, you actually now play with people's emotions. But I do think shock advertising is still relevant, and I think it still works for certain campaigns. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm two ways about it.
Yeah.
I think, and I do think it has a place. I think there's certain things that society needs to be shocked about, that we've been desensitized to, and we're just like, whatever. But at the same time, it's such as drinking and driving.
I mean, the road that AA Arrive Alive tried to do that whole thing of putting crashed cars on the side of the N1, N3s or whatever to Joburg. I mean, you see it, but you can see that has been placed there. Whereas, I don't know how they would do it, not that I'm saying they should do it. Whereas if it looked a little more real, like you drive past what looks like an accident scene that just happened, I think that would really like shake you. Yes, you know? Like, they put the whole, not just like a car that's just sitting there, crashed, abandoned. Like, I don't know, put silver blankets and stuff on roads. I think that would shock people.
Oh, like, really likes dead people. That's what she wants.
I really don't. But I mean, if you're gonna go that route, because I mean, also those cars, you drive past it going to Joburg, you come back, it's still there. Okay, cool. Yeah. What is that?
It's like crashed years ago.
Yeah. So it kind of dies out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as I'm saying, like, at the same time, we are desensitized to shock advertising. Yeah. Like, we can tell when it's shock advertising, like how this didn't last. Like, people knew from like the second it happened. Some people just were like, oh, this is fake. And everyone's just like, yeah, whatever. And the idea of advertising is obviously to get a conversion. And in this case, I would love to see the reports. I'd love to see how many people actually pledged. I know that Moozlie did a press tour afterwards, was on a number of radio stations, went on to Metro FM, where K-Yeezy was very like, what were you doing? you know. So she went on to ENCA. So it did get a lot of like talkability. I would love to know if people went onto their laptops and pledged. Because that's the whole point. Like, there is no value for a brand in trending. Yeah. Zero value. If it does not translate to conversions. So I just think that the shock is great to win luries. Fantastic. I don't think the shock is great for the actual message of sustainability of the message. Yeah. Look at her, man. I don't think it's great. I don't think it's great for like the exactly.
Especially people are shocked,
the initial shock is there,
But you know,
and then it dies, and it's like there needs to be campaigns that are like planned out properly, that are sustainable, that have a way to communicate and re-communicate and you know, remind people about it, and you know what I mean, like, and the campaign has to have different elements. Congratulations, you made it to the end of my video. Okay, so I lost footage. You know, Ruth and I had such a nice conversation, and then you know how technology works and cameras and stuff. But you made it to the end. Thank you so much for watching until this very part. And please remember to subscribe, like, and share this video with your friends. And watch my next video, which I'm actually shooting today because it's my birthday, and I am doing a vlog. Guys, I'm a YouTuber. Okay, I love you. Bye.